Char friends, welcome back. It's the 4-2 emotional 6.5 day sequence. We're going to talk about the last 12 hours of this sequence. Now, when we get to the end of an emotional sequence, it's going to be a metaphorical tide, and the tide's going to reverse direction. So this 12 hours is always an exclamation point. Why do we say that? Well, what's going to happen here is this. We're going to have some polarity moments that are going to polarize together and some strong ones. So we've already had a mental that's been going on for a few days now, and now we're going to have a single emotional to join it here at the end. That's why it's elevated 3. And then this is going to flop over the other direction. And even though this is pretty much at ground zero, these two are going to exchange here in just a 12-hour period of time. So that's what's coming. And that's what we've been working up to here. So if you've really been feeling some agitation or stress, it wouldn't be surprising. If it's been difficult to make decisions, that wouldn't be surprising either. And definitely for people that have been upset about the bigger picture or have been concerned about routines and how their routines are being affected, this is going to be a period of time that's really going to agitate that. So be very cautious here going into this next 12 hours. All right, so we're not going to spend a ton of time here because this is a pretty short sequence. You can see the movement that's going to happen in the testing sequence here. So upper left is going to bump up a little bit. Upper right is actually going to come down. Lower left has been thumping this whole 6.5 day sequence, so nothing's changed here. And the right lower is about what it was yesterday, just a little bit less. So again, this testing sequence is pretty simplistic. There are going to be sequences where there are going to be different variations of this pattern, but you're always being tested on how well you're getting along with your family, and you're always being tested on how balanced your routines are. And this just tells you the penalty that's coming if they're not balanced. That's how that works. So this 12-hour segment at the end here is going to have an exclamation point. We're going to talk about that in just a second. So when things change out, there's always going to be multiple alignments that happen. And that's what we really want to focus on here. Now, we've already talked about the electromagnetics and that huge flop I was talking about. Look at it, here to here. In just that 12-hour period, there's going to be a pretty violent exchange here. And then you can see how this causes this elevated agitation, okay? So this is the start of the next sequence right here is what we're looking at. Now, before this sequence kicks off, there's always an exclamation point at the end, and there's a bunch of strong alignments that are going to hit at the same time. So the alignments we got to worry about today. Again, we're being tested on everything all the time, but during these alignments, we're really going to have extra pressure put on us in the upper quadrants of our body. You can see there's quite a bit of left, and there is some right too. And that's going to be when it's going through these blue alignments here. So that has to do with teammates. And you really need to get along with everybody. Doesn't matter their age, doesn't matter their maturity, doesn't matter their gender. You need to master relationship, meaning you have to communicate with them. You have to coordinate with them. You have to alleviate stress and work through stress with them. And you have to try to balance your routine to ensure that future families, future individuals that experience a sentient reality are going to have a better experience because of what you contributed to in this one. That's how you do great. If you're doing that, very little damage is happening. In fact, if you're doing that, you're healing your body. The more unbalanced your choice, the more damage you take. That's how that works. Now, there is one purple alignment. You see how they're happening right here on top of each other, blue and purple. This is going to test to see how balanced our routines are. And in the lower quadrants of the body, this has to do with individual and family routines. That's these colors down here. So this orange one is going to be testing or looking at how we're spending our time in the smaller levels. Are we over investing? Are we under investing? And again, you got to invest equally at every level. And you have to leave this interconnected world a better experience for every family, no matter where they're born. You do that, you're in perfect alignment. You don't, that's what you're working towards. The farther off of that you are, the faster you're going to take damage to this lower quadrant, and it's going to be noticeable. These are going to be strong and these are going to be long, and there is a ton of electromagnetic energy happening here. So this is just going to sensitize us. That's what's happening. We get too sensitive and we overreact to what we're perceiving, and these increased sensitivities, that's just this pattern. That's what it's doing. It's tricking us with our own senses. It's just making us more aware physically, like that agitating feeling inside and outside. That's what this pattern does. All right, that's it for the alignments. Let's roll down here and see what we've got going on. So there is an imbalance today. You see how we've got 4 here and we've got 3 here, so we've got 7 on the left. So this is going to be a day that's really going to put some pressure on that left side. And it's been an entire 6.5 day sequence of pressure on the left. So this is the exclamation point that I was talking about. Things have doubled up here, meaning the physical and the emotionals are aligned, and that's why they're all stacking on the same side like this. So this is likely going to be a challenging 12 hours for a lot of people. Not only they're not going to feel the greatest, but it's going to be difficult to stay calm and to work through those emotions in positive ways that create benefit for all of us. That's the trick to this, okay? You can do it. All right. So down here, we're preparing you. You've got the rest of 2024 at your fingertips. You can look ahead. You can see when this pattern is going to elevate so that you can mentally prepare and emotionally prepare for this roller coaster ride we can't get off of. That's what we're up to. And the more people that we help understand this pattern and overcome this pattern, the less the roller coaster is going to be controlling what's happening around us. All right, that's a good way to end this one, and we look forward to seeing you in the next 12 hours. The 5-1 is going to be something, okay? We're about to change into a new plutonic shape, and that's going to be noticeable. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye now.